Aloha, my name is Al Rich, and I'm president and founder of ACR Solar International, and also the designer of the Islander solar water heating system, which we're going to give you an installation guideline talk on today. And that's the purpose right now. We show the materials over here that go to the tank, and over here we have materials that go to the collector. So I'm going to start in the manual, and I'm going to go through it page by page, and we're going to point out, give you tips and tricks to the installation, just to help give you a general guideline. This is not supposed to be like an actual installation. We're not going to be gluing things together. We're just going to be showing you where everything goes, so when you go to the actual installation, you'll know what to get and how to put it together. The Islander kit is a very basic installation. It does not have all the accessories that our deluxe kit and our gold kit have. The deluxe and the gold kit is a kit you'd want to get if you don't want to make any trips to the hardware store. It's a very complete kit. And, but this is the most economical system you can buy, and it'll do you very well for saving money and getting a very functional solar water heating system in your home. So starting right off, we have the introduction to the Islander system. We go through the different systems that we have, and we go through the parts for the Islander. We call the base kit A, and we call the deluxe kit our kit B, and gold is our Islander kit C, which comes with everything including insulation, tempering valve, and all kinds of nice things for a complete system. And usually that's purchased for larger systems. The base kit system that we're going to be talking about here is limited to 10 and 20 square foot systems. The reason why is because when you get larger systems, you can get very, very, very high temperatures, and that can be rough on what is commonly used, I believe, over the areas of the islands, CPVC. So this system is designed to work with CPVC, commonly available materials. There's nothing at all wrong with using copper or brass. It's just that it's simpler to use a CPVC. So going through the installation manual, we're going to come to the parts. Now, basic parts that come with the system are the collector, and this is a 1001 collector. This collector, Skyline collector, only weighs 19 pounds. It's extremely easy to get onto your roof. We have a very simple mounting system using L brackets. The L brackets are designed to slip between the trim and the frame, just like that. Now, you can move these anywhere you need to, but generally we recommend keeping it in roughly the top 18 inches of the collector, somewhere in that range. And then you can mount another one down a little bit, and that'll serve as your mounting system. You're going to want to put these on rafters preferably, or have a backboard or something, so when you put your lag in, the lag is going to have a washer that it goes through. This then goes through into your roof. Now, keep in mind that you don't want to just go drilling lags into your roof. You want to do preparation for it. You may want to have a board that this goes onto, pressure treated. You may want to put it through an aluminum rail or something like that. These are all accessories that we have available but don't come with the base kit. Also, you're going to want to use a very high quality polyurethane sealant or silicone. And when you locate everything and you drill your holes and you get everything over your rafters, you're then going to want to fill that hole with polyurethane and then put the lag back through it. You'll have a nice little dab, and when you do that, that'll squeeze and make a very, very watertight seal. You'll find in other of our installation manuals, there'll be installation manuals specifically for the collectors, and those will help give you further ideas for the installation. So this is the basic installation that we have. We also have a PV panel, and that's this right here. This is the little panel right here will actually power this entire system. You don't even need to have 110 volts for this system to work. It all works off of a little PV panel. And this is a really nice thing. You'll need to get some wire. All you need is like 3 wire. That'll connect to the PV panel. There's a little box right here, and inside there's just a couple screws, one for the positive, one for the negative. Of course, red for the positive, white or black for the negative, and then we have green for ground. You're going to want to have one of the wires, green wire, ground the panel, and then when you bring that panel, the wire down to your pump, which simply gets connected, red positive, black negative. When you bring it down, then you're going to want to have your negative ground out your storage tank. So these are the parts that actually come with the system for the storage tank area. We have 2 ball valves, a pump, a check valve, and 2 hose bills. Now, what's important here is a check valve is needed at the top to prevent what's called reverse thermal siphoning, or basically cooling your water heater overnight. The check valve prevents the water from going back up into your collector and then siphoning back down into your tank, thus taking the hot water out and putting the cool water that's in the collector back in. So it's a very important item, the check valve. What we don't include in the system is all the PVC and the miscellaneous parts that connect the system, but these are commonly available and you can get them at your local hardware store. So that's the basic kit that's included. One other thing in the collector is the collector includes a pressure relief valve. Pressure relief valves are very, very important in a system that could be closed, such as with the ball valves, because if it's ever closed and sealed, tremendous pressure can build up as the system heats up, and this pressure relief valve protects the system and you against any damage. Now, to further go along in the installation manual, go to section 3, tools and materials needed. What we recommend is that you have 2 adjustable wrenches and a wrench set for the compression unions. This is a compression union right here, and basically they have a little nut and they have a ferrule inside. And when you put your copper tube inside it and you tighten it down, it tightens that ferrule around the copper. Here's an example right here. So when this goes in, should have tested this. Then you tighten down your nut, and it crimps down on the metal, and it makes a very good seal. Get that back out. There we go. Okay, so to continue, we're going to show you the storage tank here, assembling the storage tank, and also the basic connections to the collector. Overall, it's a very simple connection. All we're doing is we're making a connection from the tank, from the collector to the tank, and we'll be using basically some little length of copper. And the reason for we have this little length of copper is because very hot water could come out of this collector if it stagnates, and that could damage the CPVC. So first we start with a little length of copper. This is supplied with the system. Then you supply the CPVC. Now, to set up the collector, it's going to come with a T, a brass T. It's going to come with a pressure relief valve, and then you have a connection right here, compression. We supply with your system two lengths of copper, and they have already either soldered on, or additionally, we also can supply a compression piece right here. A way for you to adapt standard CPVC to the to be able to adapt the PVC onto a tube. What you'll need to do is get a couple of adapters. They go onto the CPVC, and then you simply screw those on, and you run this the rest of the way down to your storage tank. So basic principle: collectors are going to go on your roof in a southwesterly direction if possible. You can be east, but we prefer south or west. And you'll be mounting your system. You'll be connecting your lines. You'll have a line for the hot side. You'll connect one for the cold side. Then you connect your CPVC, and then that goes down to the storage tank. Now I'm going to give you a description of how the storage tank connections go together. Okay, with your kit, you get these parts. You'll need to buy some parts that connect to the top of the storage tank. You may want to come over here, Clark. These parts right here connect the 3/4 inch into the tank, then you have to adapt to a T, because this T is what you're going to use to connect your tank to your cold water line and your hot water line. So here we have this part right here that's going to go into your cold side. You are then going to use your purple primer and your CPVC glue to put everything together. We kind of assume that everybody who's doing this kind of job already has some technical experience and will understand, you know, how these components and everything go together as a basic plumbing part. So here we have the cold side put in. We're going to put in the hot side, and then we're going to show you how to build this up. It's a very simple build for the connections. So you'll put this in, you glue it all together. Now, what you need is on the hot side, where it comes out, this is where you're going to have a ball valve on either side to be able to shut the system off. So if you want to shut off your solar loop, we supply ball valves to be able to very easily and quickly do that. So these then go on to, in this case, the hot side. The hot side has the check valve again to prevent that reverse thermal siphoning and cooling, because this is going to be coming from the top of the collector, and the top of the collector at night is going to be feeding from the top of the tank, and the collector on the roof could cool off, and that cool water is going to want to go this way and into your tank and cool it off. This stops that. So that's why we have a check valve. Okay, so on the hot side, again, another ball valve so you can completely shut off the system. Then we go over here, and you're going to tighten these down. You'll want to use Teflon tape wherever you have fittings, and the pump goes on. Now the pump is a very good pump. It's completely non-corrosive. It's all plastic, but you need to use 2 wrenches. You need to not do any twisting at all of the plastic of the pump. So you use a wrench to tighten this in, and again use plenty of Teflon, and the same with the top. Now you're going to be putting in 2 more fittings. This is going to be, you're going to have to adapt 1/2 inch to a T, because you will need to have a boiler, we call it a hose bib on here. And then that will go on the, in this case, the cold side, and now the hot side. And we then put in the hose bibs. Again, tightening them up using Teflon. I'm just doing this for show and tell right now. Now from where your collectors are, you're going to be running your CPVC from your collectors after the copper. Okay, so the collector, again, is mounted on your roof. You're going to be connecting the copper line to it. You're going to run this through your roof, and in the installation manual, we have several pages on that, on doing the roof. Now I'm going to go back a little bit to the installation manual just to go through things. We've already discussed the collector, the lines from the collector. There's a soft copper so you can bend them so they can go through the roof, through a roof boot or whatever you have. You've got your PV panel. You've got your assembly right here, so you've got your pump. You have your 2 hose bibs. You have your 2 ball valves, and you have your check valve. So it's a very simple assembly. So the pump side will go to the bottom of the collector, and then the side that's returning from the top, you'll have your copper, then you'll have your CPVC, and you'll connect that simply into the top of the storage tank on the hot side. We give some advice on section 4 on compression. One of the things with compression and soft copper is you want to make sure that the copper is fully seated into the T or into the L, and you want to make sure that when you crank it down you don't tighten it too much, otherwise you actually could do damage to it. And that's all advice that's given in here in section 4. Also, we should have another picture that shows the L bracket that we described with the lag going through it and the washer. One of the things I want everybody to keep in mind is safety first. Whenever you're working on a roof, use a great deal of caution. Do not attempt to self-install without help if you have any back or physical problems. General warnings: remember, a collector in the sun can be very, very hot. Cover it to prevent burns from hot copper tubing, and very hot fluid could be coming out of the tubes. And always use copper in systems over 20 square feet. This section, section 5, is one that you'll be able to read on your own, but it basically goes into the orientation and location of the collectors on the roof. We get into the collector installation and about how to walk on a roof. If you're walking on a composition roof, you don't want to knock off the bottom parts right here. You don't want to put your foot here, you want to put it right in the middle. If you're walking on a tile roof, you want to walk right at the very bottom few inches, because this has a connection right to the one below it. If you step here, it's just hollow, and that can break. The same goes with barrel tile. You want to walk right down at the very, very edge. This shows the system with our deluxe system or gold system rails that are included with the kit. One of the things that you want to keep in mind is to do a thorough job of caulking around any of the connections. You want to make sure that when you go through that you've got that seal in there good and you have the caulk in the hole. That's very, very important. When you put it in, it'll spread it, tighten it, and prevent leaks. And that's pretty much it. We look forward to working with you, and we look forward to having you have an Islander system, getting lots and lots of hot water for many years to come. Thank you.